What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mobile video. So today we are going to be discussing an upcoming weapon that will be making its way into the 6th anniversary season, of course, season 11 of Call of Duty Mobile. So surprisingly enough, we are getting yet again another marksman rifle. So as you guys know, earlier in the year, we ended up getting the M1 Gran. In fact, it was probably just a few months ago that we ended up getting that marksman rifle. And right now, we're all on the way to getting yet again another one called the SO-14. This is kind of a monumental time because finally we're not getting a gun from Vanguard, Black Ops Cold War, and Modern Warfare 2019. We're actually getting a gun from the new iterations of Call of Duty, which of course starts with Modern Warfare 2. Since we don't really know truly how the weapon is going to function, we're kind of in uncharted territory because we don't know how the gunsmith for that weapon is going to work out. We do know one thing though, that this marksman rifle isn't actually a marksman rifle, at least how it was titled in Modern Warfare 2, because in that game they had something that was a little bit below marksman rifles and they were actually called battle rifles. So for example, like most assault rifles that we have in this game would, as you probably would guess, would run maybe like 5.56, 5.45, normal caliber stuff. I mean, I guess what's considered normal. But of course, there's other weapons that are a little bit higher caliber, like such as 7.62. Those weapons were mainly set as battle rifles in Modern Warfare 2, with the exception of maybe like one of the AK-47s. There was like a lot of them in that game. So while some of them had some semi-auto function, they also had full auto functions. Of course, some of them were pretty good. Some of them were not really too helpful because there was just a lot of recoil, especially in Modern Warfare 2. There was a lot, and I mean a lot of visual recoil. And I know there's a lot of people that complain about visual recoil in this game, aim shake and stuff. But trust me, we have it good. But yes, the SO-14, according to the leaks, is actually going to be coming out with a full auto perk. Unlike Modern Warfare 2, it's going to be set as a normal attachment in this game, probably for balancing reasons. It's not going to be something that's built in, but of course in that game it was, where battle rifles were typically either 3-round burst or, just semi-auto, but you could have a selector switch that would actually turn it to full auto. It was something that was built in. You didn't need an attachment for it. Of course, the SO-14, at least from what I remember, because I think I ended up getting that marksman rifle platinum or at least gold. Um, it did have a pretty fast fire rate, and when I ended up switching to full auto, it did shoot pretty fast. So I can't really expect the damage to be extremely high. Maybe if it's in semi-auto, it'll probably be as good as maybe the M1 Gran or around that area. But then when you put to full auto, there might be some downsides where you might get reduced damage, much like how it is with the M16 auto perk. So they might do some multiplier reductions, maybe some range reductions on the weapon just to balance it out. I will have a link below in the description to Exclusive Ace's video. He actually talks a little bit about the SO-14 for Modern Warfare 2, just so you guys could get an idea of how the weapon actually functions. But as for Gunsmith, I mean, outside of just the auto perk, we're kind of in uncharted territory because, yes, they had barrels that increased range, they had barrels that made you faster, but from what I remember, Modern Warfare 2 had some very, very serious penalties when it came to using certain attachments. And that was actually one of the bigger complaints of Modern Warfare 2, where just everything felt like it was just adding weight to the weapon or it was just making it jump too much. It wasn't until Modern Warfare 3 where the carry forward took place, and a lot of the attachments that were able to be shared with the Modern Warfare 2 guns actually ended up making the weapons way, way better. But what I'm hoping is, and since this is COD Mobile, hopefully they actually find a way to properly balance these attachments, maybe in a more COD Mobile style. And another thing to keep in mind is visual recoil. We don't know how COD Mobile is going to handle that as well, because again, in Modern Warfare 2, visual recoil was one of the most common complaints when it came to gunplay in that game. So for all we know, COD Mobile could end up porting that type of visual recoil over and making it very frustrating to use. And who knows, maybe it might actually carry over to the Mythic as well. So that's something we also have to keep in mind. I know there were quite a bit of complaints when the Ram 7 Mythic came out. A lot of people were complaining about aim shake and everything. And honestly, I mean, it wasn't really that bad in my opinion, but I could see why people would be complaining. Also, since Modern Warfare 2 did have kind of like this weapon family tree, I don't really think that's gonna happen in COD Mobile where they're gonna start lumping a lot of weapons together in a singular tree. I think that's just a Modern Warfare 2 exclusive thing, so it's probably just gonna be a standalone weapon. I mean, it would be nice if it had some sort of connection to the M21 EBR, but I highly doubt this will happen. And also, this does open a lot of different opportunities when it comes to weapon release because now they could add snipers like the LAB, which basically is a striking resemblance to the SPR. So, yeah, we're probably going to be seeing a lot of different weapon clones in the near future. Maybe even at some point, we might actually get something like the FTAC Recon. We could also be getting like a TAC M, that was the marksman version of the TAC 56, which I guess is basically the DRH of that game. We could eventually end up getting like a marksman rifle version of the DRH. So now let's actually talk about the Mythic. So obviously there's no real word on what the Mythic is going to look like. We just know that it's going to come out for the SO-14. So yes, we are also making history because this is going to be the first time we actually end up getting a Mythic for a marksman rifle. I think the marksman rifle might be I think one of the only categories left before all the categories have at least had one Mythic. We have a few snipers, we have one shotgun, we have plenty of assault rifles and SMGs. So yeah, almost the entire list is basically complete. The only thing I don't really think they'll add as a Mythic is maybe a melee or a launcher or even a pistol, because I think pistols are kind of underutilized anyway, so they probably wouldn't see any profit in that. But yeah, after the SO-14 comes out, we would have one Mythic for every category. So if you were to ask me my opinion on how this weapon will fare in COD Mobile, so my prediction is it might be spotty. Some of you guys might have a different prediction, but given its fire rate, I don't expect it to be as good as the SKS or even the what's the Type 63. It'll probably be around there, maybe alongside the M1 Grand because I know the two-shot kill potential is a lot more restricted when it comes to the M1 Grand because of its faster fire rate. So it might be around that ballpark, but in terms of the auto, since I've seen it fire pretty fast, I know there's gonna be some 3-tap capability, but I just don't know by how much. They could probably have some in the upper arm multipliers or maybe the chest and the head. But as for everything else, I'm not too certain. And also, given that it does have very high recoil, well, I mean, at least as far as I know, because again, things could change in this game. It's always possible. I think even if we do have an auto perk, we're probably gonna have to build it out in a way where we have to have a lot of vertical recoil control. So that might actually involve us slowing down the weapon significantly. Despite the many complaints that we've had about balancing, because I mean the USS-9 and the VMP were only two major complaints I would say throughout this entire year, mainly the USS-9. But I'm hoping that they don't really mess up with this one. I know it's getting a Mythic, but keep in mind, not every Mythic is always going to be overpowered. I mean, look at the Type 25, the Jack 12. Hardly anyone uses it as good as it is. But since it is the first marksman rifle, anything is possible. So I do want you guys to kind of be on your toes once this weapon does get released, or at least when it's showcased. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD Mobile content, and I'll see you guys next time.